The fireplace is great. I love the books in it. That's a cute.
Yeah, right? I'm just lighting all the books on fire. When did you first move here from Ireland? We'll start from the beginning. Hilarious comic, Katie Boyle here on the TEDJONESWORLD podcast. Thank you so much for coming in. Are you trying to look like how to
Am I
hold
holding
it?
this right?
You know what? I feel like you can just kind of hold it whatever makes you comfortable.
Wow, okay, great.
I guess don't really go so close to the connector. But besides that, just enjoy yourself while holding the microphone.
Perfect. 8 years ago, in like a couple of days, on Thanksgiving it'd be 8 years ago, or maybe the day before, or the day, I'm not sure, the 23rd, 24th.
And what made you come over to New York? Was it just comedy?
No, I came to do art. So, not that I'm calling comedy art, but some people would, but like actual visual art is what I did in college, like sculpture and installation and stuff like that. So I came to do that, and I interned at MoMA, but then I stayed for comedy.
Okay, and were you planning on getting into comedy when you came over here, or it was just all art focused?
All art focused.
Interesting. You weren't like a theater person in high school in Ireland?
No, didn't even like public speaking or doing presentations or anything like that.
What was the switch?
I just saw, Maria Wojciechowski?
I know that name.
She isn't doing a lot right now because she just had a baby, but I saw her doing a show at Over the 8. This is obviously before it closed down. So this was like nearly 8 years ago, but and she was just really funny and she killed it, and she was the only woman on the lineup, and yeah, I just felt inspired. I was like, I just didn't watch a lot of stand up at home, and I hadn't seen a lot of female comedians. I had seen Maeve Higgins, but not in stand up, just like on funny shows in Ireland. So I didn't know any female comedians who were like living off it. Now Maria wasn't either at the time, but I was just kind of like, oh, this is so great, like she crushed it.
I saw you on a show like 3.5 weeks ago, and you were also the only female comic on the show.
Oh, what show was that again?
That was the Fresh Towel show at the East Village Moxie. Remember that? You were the only female on it.
Oh,
yeah, there was like a towel on the TV screen.
A towel on the TV screen. I do not remember
you do
that.
a lot of shows, so I wouldn't take offense to you not knowing what I'm talking about. No, but it was in a hotel, East Village. Some show. Mark Jugard.
Oh, I was thinking, was it that? But then when you said a towel on the TV show, I was like, I do not remember.
No,
that.
they put a towel over the TV. It's just for like I guess the banner of the show. I know, like it took me until like the third or fourth comic to fully notice it. I was like, oh, that was clever. Put a fresh towel on the TV. So funny. So what have you been getting into, I guess, within like the last 6 months, and then things that are coming up in 2023 in terms of comedy?
I taped a special and recorded an album, so I guess it's a long process with them editing it, which I didn't realize, because with the special they use like 7 different cameras. So yeah, just wait for that to come out.
When did you first record that?
When was it? Oh, the end of September.
Okay, and then do they have a specific date that they're giving you yet?
Like February, March. They said it just takes time. They're obviously doing like loads of people's as well, so that's fine. There's no pressure on it. But yeah, that was kind of really the big thing.
And that was at New York Comedy Club?
Yeah.
And that was a full hour, right?
Yeah, I did 90 minutes, but obviously only an hour will be for. Yeah, because I didn't have an opener or host. I just went up and did crowd work myself just to get as many clips to promote it.
Very cool.
And then I did an hour-ish of material, a little over an hour.
How long did it take for you to get to, I guess to that 90 minutes, but you said like 30 of it was crowd work, you think?
Yeah, like 20 up top and then 10 minutes Q&A at the end, so.
And you had been building that for 8 years, or was this like your second or third hour that you did?
Oh no, this is my first taped hour, so yeah, it's all bits over the last 8 years, but not all of it, just stuff for that.
A lot of stuff from like growing up in Ireland?
Yeah, some stuff from my dad or my parents, but not really, not a lot from growing up in Ireland, just my personal family experience.
How different is it comparing Ireland and New York?
Well, New York is different to all of America anyway, but yeah, it's completely different.
You grew up in a city in Ireland or suburbs? I
grew up in the suburbs, and then my dad lives on a farm, but it's just different in every way. Do you know, like firstly, everything's open all the time. Like in Ireland, most of the places are closed on Sundays, and then they close earlier, so here it's just like you think that's great when you move over, and then you're exhausted. They should have days where things are like
things like settle down earlier. Does it get dark there pretty early?
Yeah, like 7 or 8. It depends on the season. We have seasons too.
Yeah, right. Like in New York, it's dark outside. It's like 4 p.m. right now.
Yeah. So, and then obviously like sex here is very like more in your face than at home. And there's a lot more like people are more open about what they do sexually. Like as in you can go to these kink places, or you can go to sex parties or sex clubs.
Oh, and they don't have that really in Ireland?
They do. It's just quiet about it, you know, and it wouldn't be as much. No, God, no. It's like I'm sure they have a sex club, but like I'm sure you need to. It'd be like figuring out who's in the Illuminati here. Do you know what I mean? It's like hard.
Yeah, it's like it exists, but we don't really know where it exists.
Yeah, they're
That's
not.
funny.
And like strip clubs are more open here. Do you know? Yeah, so all of that stuff, or like burlesque, for example. I feel like maybe Ireland's getting more open with all that stuff, but yeah, or like even like sex stores. There's not a lot of sex stores. Like here, you walk down some of the streets, like where we're living. Between this street and my house, there's like,
it's like 5 or 6
more
easy.
Because especially like that strip, it's like every second store is a sex store.
Yeah, it's like this sex district. It's so interesting. It's so funny. Now, the stereotype of people drinking a lot in Ireland, is that true?
Yeah, but I'd say like it's because we're kind of bored. It's not like you guys have so much options of things to do. Do you know?
You mean like drugs wise? Or like things to do fun wise?
I mean fun wise. You drink too much, okay? Because you have so much option fun wise. There's so much stimulant here that you probably shouldn't need to do as many drugs or drink as much as you guys do. But in Ireland, there's not a lot to do, so you just go to the pub and meet your friends.
Right.
But
they don't. A few drinks.
Irish people don't drink as much as you guys. Like as much as New Yorkers. So I used to daytime bartend, and people would be getting drunk from like early morning. Do you know? And lots of people coming in, and it's part of the culture to drink every night. Whereas in Ireland, it's more of a weekend binge.
How often were you working at that bar when you moved here?
For years.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And what was that experience like? Did you enjoy it? Was this like something that you could see yourself potentially like becoming a bartender at like a nicer and nicer spot? Something like that? The bartender hierarchy?
No, the bartender hierarchy is just a little obnoxious here. But I also, then I did watch that like mixologist show, and it is like fun.
Wait, which one?
It's like Drink Masters.
Oh, okay.
And they are really talented.
Right.
But no, I didn't want to be like I did work as a mixologist in a cocktail bar, but it was like not like a fancy cocktail bar.
Well, what were some of the drinks that you were making that were like extravagant type drinks?
Just ones they made up, but it was like just like versions of old fashioned or like.
They're like, I'll have a downtown Manhattan.
Yeah, it's like an old fashioned just with like bacon in it or something like that. You know?
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, but no, I did never want to be a full time bartender. Like, I mean, if you're a full time bartender, you make more than most people in the city.
Right, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was like, people sometimes I think actually want to pursue it as like a full-time passion.
But it's just you're on your feet, and then you're like missing out on those nights out. Like I know we miss out anyway with shows, but we're still done by a certain time. And I love that way more. Whereas you're not, I don't know, you just can't like 8-9 hours on your feet constantly dealing with customers. And
we're just wasted.
People shout at you, getting sick. And I do feel sorry for mixologists who like love what they do, and they're kind of like chefs, and then they're just like these drunk people being like, oh, I'll have whatever, the fancy Manhattan, and then just spilling that all over the place. So yeah, no.
Did you get your license, your bartender's license?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just weird. That's just lies.
Yeah, what do you mean in terms of people have to get it?
People will come in and be like looking for jobs, and they'll be like, yeah, I just finished bartending school, I have a bartending license. I'm like, that's useless.
That's so funny. So what year in moving to New York did you get into comedy? Was it like as soon as you moved here?
6 months in, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, maybe less.
Did you have somebody who you were like going around with initially, or were you doing mics? Like, how did you get to the point where you're at now?
Originally I was going around with like, I was just going to the Creek in the Cave, and then
the Long Island City one?
Yeah, and like originally it was like people I was doing mics with were like Eagle Wit and Andre D. Thompson and those lads originally, but then or Jack Comstock, I don't know if you know him. I'm not sure. But anyway, you just went, and I just started it straight. I did a show that was for audience members could tell a joke. So I did that, and then the host said that audience members never do that. It's always open mic comedians will come up and do it. So he was like, oh, you should do this. And then the next day I started doing it, and that was it. Just like I started. Like
one of the first audience members that actually went up and did
it. He was like everybody else is like a comedian who tries
That's
this,
amazing.
who just isn't booked on the show. So, but I just didn't have a clue about any of that. And then, just started doing mics, and started running a show a month in, and that was, and then ran a couple of other shows. But yeah, that was kind of it. I just liked it a lot when I started it.
And that's a great way to get in the mix, like starting a show and then having all these people do your show is a great way to do it. So
yeah.
I'm sure you know. And
I felt like I didn't know a lot about comedy. I don't know. I still like people will be talking about comedians, and I'll be like, oh, I have to fucking Google that later. But, so I wasn't like influenced by anybody in a way. And then secondly, like people move here from other states, and they were like big fish, and then they come here in their little pond, and they have a real ego hit. I didn't have any of that. So I was kind of, what's the word? like oblivious to a lot of stuff for so long.
In a good way?
Really good. Because then I could just work on it, get good. Wasn't worried about people. I didn't know that New York was the place where you get seen. So you like everybody else is like worried.
That's nice to not know that.
Yeah,
you know, like you come to the big pond and you're like, oh, no worries. You're swimming in the pond. You were good with it.
Yeah. I was just like, I'll just work hard at this. And
so were you ever going to go back to Ireland, or like you found this comedy bug 6 months in and you're like, I'm staying here?
Yeah, that was it. I wouldn't have stayed if it wasn't for comedy.
Well, how was your living situation in those first 6 months or first year? Like your first apartment, how was it?
Awful. It was because we don't have bed bugs in Ireland. So,
oh my God, you were first introduced like in New York?
Yeah, because
the bed bug capital.
I know, it's horrific. That's like stuff of like they tell like as horror stories.
Yeah, like home. Your next door neighbor had it and you might not have it, but you also might have it.
Yeah, it's like the STD without having sex.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy.
Without the enjoyable part, potentially.
So I moved in with 3 other Irish people. One of them, she was here to like find her long lost father's family type of thing. Like she'd never really known her father. So she was on like
Side note, did she?
I don't know. She was going through a bit of a rough time, so I didn't really keep up contact with her.
Well, she can write in if she's listening. TEDJONESWORLD@gmail.com or Katie Boyle on Instagram.
Yeah, but then we were also living with this couple who would fight all the time and they were like throw stuff at each other. It was like really intense. But they said they were going to get a bed off Craigslist, and me and the other girl were like, don't, because you'll get bed bugs, and they did anyway. And we got bed bugs from that. That night I saw the bed bugs, I like slept on the kitchen table because like we've heard of bed bugs in Ireland, but they wouldn't be like this. Like you guys are like little like creatures.
Yeah, how did you find these roommates? On Craigslist?
No, it was like an Irish person back home said it to my grandmother that she knows someone who's looking for someone to move in.
So they brought in a used mattress to your apartment that had bed bugs on it.
Yeah, and then we all got bed bugs and we had to like fumigate the place. My window fell off at one point from the apartment. They got mice as well in their room because, and this is like 3rd floor, but like when you opened it, I came home one night and they were all standing on the chairs in the kitchen table. And I was like, what's wrong? And they were like, oh, we have mice.
Having a dance party?
Yeah. And then I said, what are you talking about? They said the mice is in their room. So this is the couple who also got to bed. But when I looked in their room, there was pizzas and pizza boxes and like trash all over the floor. And I'm like, yeah, no wonder. Like, use your fucking head. Clean this shit up. Like, so.
And you were still able to finish the full year in the apartment? Like the landlord or somebody didn't kick you out or something?
Oh, no, they finished. I left. I just got someone else to like
sublease it or whatever.
Sublease. I know I'm going to hell, but whatever.
Wow. And then how was your experience after that? An apartment situation in New York?
The next place was great. I didn't have air conditioning though. So that was like, I was like in a pool of sweat. I got my mattress fumigated and then I put like a bed bug protector on it. So then the next place I was in, we didn't have air conditioning. We were on the 3rd floor and it was just really, really hot during that summer. But then because I was sleeping on like, even though there was a sheet over it, there was still plastic.
It was like cold plastic?
No, it would make it sweat more. It was like, it was awful. So
you take it like cold shower at 4 a.m.
Yeah, it was not nice. But then when the next place I moved in, I was like living with like 6 lads. That was a nightmare. And yeah, the one time they were like over the kitchen sink trying to build a fly contraption because they couldn't understand why there were so many flies, but it wouldn't occur to any of them just to fucking wash their dishes.
So like throw out stuff.
Yeah. They were just kind of dirty young lads. And then I moved in with 2 other lads, and then I moved into Astoria, and that was great. But now I live with my boyfriend. But the Astoria place was fine, except for we got cockroaches. And so I'm gonna look like I'm the problem now.
No, it's just animals in the city that and they haven't gotten to you at your current apartment. So there you go. So you've improved.
And we have a cat now as well. So he's.
Oh, there you go.
But the cockroaches place, that was the neighbor next door. She would leave her door open the whole time, and she was what's the word where you collect?
Hoarder.
Yeah. You could see the boxes and boxes of cereal basically spilling out, and you could see a cockroach. Like I'd walk up and I'd see him like as if he'd packed a little suitcase and was like trying to move over to my apartment. You'd see them walk across.
You brought some leftovers with him.
Yeah, little fucker. So, and then every time we tried to get like a fumigator in, it was like the landlord was really cheap, and he'd just get like one time he got this random older man. He was definitely an older Latin man, and he was so sweet, but he might have been sniffing the fumes a bit too much because he sprayed it all, but then he asked me to do like a meditation with him and asked me to do like, and he was obviously religious, this religious meditation. And then he like asked me to stick out my tongue with my eyes closed. But I did the meditation anyway, because I didn't want to be rude.
You did the tongue out with your eyes closed?
Yeah. And then my my boyfriend at the time was like, why would you do that? And I was like, well, it's either like, I'm just going to go with it and see like, what if he snaps and murders me? And then I just felt like, sorry, you know, because he's just like this little old man. And
what was the meditation though?
Just like some weird angel prayer to keep you safe. So
after he fumigated it, he was like, angel prayer now.
Yeah, he was just like, oh, I just want to give you this. I feel like a good energy from you. I want to give you this prayer. And yeah, I don't know. All my friends are Latin as well, and I lived with a Latin girl, so I don't know. I just was like, oh, he's a nice little Latin man. I don't know. Maybe if he was like a older white American guy, I might have been like, I don't know. You're gonna stab me.
But then, did you end up getting good vibes from that apartment?
No, I left that apartment.
Oh. Okay.
So, but I haven't died. I haven't died yet.
Yeah, you're good. And we got the crystal. We got the crystals here from Amazon on the table. I don't know. Apparently, those rose quartz crystals are good. I'm into it, I guess. Are you into crystals?
Someone gave me a crystal once, and I keep it just to be safe.
Yeah. So you're safe. You're good.
Yeah. I don't know if any of it's true.
Yeah, I don't know either, but we've been good so far. I had so much. I don't know why I'm mentioning this, but I had so much seaweed before you came over, and I'm just feeling like a seaweed.
You ate the seaweed?
Yeah. You ever eat seaweed?
No.
It's good.
Yeah.
Like the seaweed from sushi type, but like the stuff that they wrap it in, and you just eat it plain with like little spices on it. It's good.
It's really good for you.
It's light. Yeah, now I just feel like a seaweed. What'd you have for lunch on a lighter note?
Just a sandwich with fake cheese and tomato.
You're vegan?
I just don't eat dairy.
I like that. So I'm fully vegan. So I have fake cheese, fees, I guess they call it all the time.
I like the fake cheese. The cashew one is really good.
Oh, it is super good. Cashews are like my favorite nut too.
Or the fake feta. That one's amazing.
I don't think I've ever had fake feta.
Good.
What, you put that like in a salad?
Yeah, it doesn't actually taste anything like feta. It tastes more like a creamy cheese. Like it's kind of marketed wrong, but it's really good.
Like a cream cheese type bagel?
Like a thick, I don't know how to explain it, but it's not like feta. It's like some other cheese. Yeah.
What kind of stuff what's like the main food that people eat in Ireland? Is there like a country food that people eat all the time?
No, I mean, the obvious answer is potatoes, but I do feel across the board people do eat a lot of potatoes.
That's like my favorite food, French fries.
Yeah, plus potatoes you can live off. It has all your vitamins. That's why Irish people survived off it, and then that's why they died when there was the blight, because all of their other food was being exported to the Brits. So, but they survived off it because you could literally survive off a potato.
And for how long were people surviving off of potatoes for?
As soon as the Brits took over, because they started exporting all of their other food. So even during the famine, when they exported the food, like Irish people were still growing other food, but the Brits would take that. So they just 3/4 of the population either died or emigrated.
Can you talk a little bit about this, the famine? What year was this?
Like, this is like the 1776
let's hear
or
about
something.
it.
Let me Google the actual year because I can't. It's like 17.
So you can live off a potato fully because it has all those nutrients and vitamins. And I mean, it makes sense.
Oh, sorry. I said it totally wrong. It's 1845. So not as long as I thought.
Okay.
But 1845. So, oh my God, my history is so bad. But yeah.
You're good. You got it.
I thought it was way longer ago. Jesus. But yeah, the Brits came in the 1600s and took over, and that was it. You know, the word boycott comes from Ireland.
Why?
Because with the Brits occupation, what they did was they would come in, they take over your land, and then they would have like a landlord, and so the Irish people were like subservient, if that makes sense. And there was one landlord, and his name was something Boycott. His last name was Boycott.
Oh,
He was a British guy, and he raised the rent so high that Irish people, there was no way they were going to be able to like afford that. So they just started to ignore him, like everybody who lived on his land.
Oh, so they're gonna last name him. They're gonna boycott him.
Yeah, and they would just pay the original rent, and they just kept ignoring him. And it was like literally late. He hired British soldiers to come and like try to intimidate Irish people.
The landlord did.
Yeah, but they were just like, you can intimidate us, but we don't have the fucking money, so we'll pay the original. But that's it. And then it kept going on. And he was spending so much money on these soldiers, hiring them, that he was at a loss. So then he just went back to the original.
Did he have what was the guy's name?
Something Boycott, and I'm like James Boycott or Jack or something.
Did he have like a monopoly on all the land and like buildings in Ireland at the time?
No, just in this certain town. Like he was just a landlord of a certain town that he had taken over, or he'd been given.
What happened to him?
He just went back then to getting the normal rent, and the Brits put it in the English dictionary.
Back after. Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they were like, oh, so this is to boycott. So it was like later that year they put it in the dictionary.
Huh.
Yeah, lynching
Fun
as well
fact.
comes from Ireland.
What's that?
So
where'd that come from?
Yeah, so obviously a lot of Americans did that to black people here, which is absolutely awful. But the original name comes from Ireland because there was a Irish mayor, I guess, of a town or governor, and his son murdered somebody, and their last name is Lynch, and he hung him because he was like, not even my son gets away with crimes here. And so he
hung his son?
Yeah, so he hung his son, but that's called Lynch. His last name is Lynch, and so that's where
the word comes from.
Yeah.
Two not great words.
No.
Bad meaning, but that's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah, boycotting's cool though.
Yeah, that is cool. Right?
Yeah,
you be like, I'm boycotting it.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool that it comes from people who are being taken advantage of.
That's true. So going back to talking about stand up for a second. So Ireland, when's the last time you were over there performing?
Oh, not for 3 years. I haven't performed there since the pandemic. I've been back home, but they had a lot of places were closed down in the pandemic, and then the last time I was home, I just wanted to see family, and again, everything was closed at 8 last time I was home. So, oh no, I lie. The last time I was home was only home for a few days, so that's why, and it was like a quick trip. But I'll be back at Christmas, and I'll be doing gigs then.
Oh, amazing! And is your whole family over there, or do you have some family here in the States too?
No, they're all there. We have like distant cousins here, like a great grandfather's brother emigrated here. My great grandfather did as well, but he ran someone over with his taxi by accident. It was like a drunk American, and they didn't like Irish people at the time, so they like booted him back to Ireland. Well, they didn't boot him back. I think he ran back before you get in trouble for it. Because he wouldn't have gotten like a fair trial or whatever.
Yeah, true.
I mean, like, he'd probably just be like arrested for like killing somebody, but they might not have listened to the fact that the guy was drunk and
So, but okay, well, in going back to Ireland, how long are you gonna be there for?
2 weeks.
What kind of stuff are you doing?
I'll just be doing my
like showcase stuff, or just you?
Just me. Like, I'll headline 2 rooms, and they call it like having your solo show. But for one of them, Tori Piskin will open because she's going to be in town.
Oh, nice.
And my boyfriend will do a spot.
Your whole family's gonna come?
And my dad will come for sure. Yeah.
Have they seen you do comedy before?
Yeah, like a bunch of times. So it's grand.
When's the last time they were in New York?
My dad came like a few years ago, so like 4 years ago or something. I think maybe 5 years ago.
But they grew up in Ireland. Your mom and dad?
They all live in Ireland. Yeah. So, yeah.
Nice. Do you want to raise a family there?
In Ireland?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, I would be afraid of my kid getting shot here. So
really,
and that's not to make light of the situation. That's a real legitimate fear. Even when I'm in the cinema, I'm afraid. Like, we were in the movie theater the other night, and a guy just came in and was just standing at the edge, and I legit thought, okay, this
like
is
in
it.
The front. He walked to the front.
Yeah. And then he left. I guess he just worked there.
This is it. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that's not a fear I have back home. And then there's healthcare. The education is cheap. So it would feel irresponsible not to bring your kid home for maybe have it here so it has citizenship, but for my own dreams are here, so I don't know.
But do you have the thought of like moving back there to be in a suburban environment with a grass type?
Maybe
or like not
it
city?
just depends on how successful I am. If I have, like, if you make it, you can live anywhere and just travel. So you could live in Ireland you could live in Ireland and travel out once a month. So yeah, you could live in Paris all you want, but that's not feasible right now.
Would your boyfriend move there?
Yeah, he said that he would. It all depends on his career as well, but like, he's not opposed to it in the future.
Is a good time to visit in the summer? Is it winter? Is it St. Patrick's Day? When do you visit?
Not St. Patrick's Day anyway. Unless you just want to get extorted, but as an American. But
what happens there for Americans on St. Patrick's Day?
Nothing. I just feel like you guys like it a lot more than us. And
for St. Patrick's Day?
Yeah.
I'm not really a drinker in general. I much prefer smoking weed. Is weed legal there?
No.
By the way? Oh, no, it's
so
not.
don't go to Ireland. Go to Amsterdam.
Yeah, okay. I'll go next door.
But no, I like, for people who like St. Patrick's Day, New York is the place to be because that does all the like ridiculousness.
It's like SantaCon, St. Patrick's Day.
It's the worst. It's the worst. But,
SantaCon coming up. I forget what day it is, but definitely soon.
So I worked one SantaCon behind a bar.
Oh no!
And it was just the worst.
What type of bar?
Just like a bar that young people go to, just a regular bar.
Yeah, they wear those hats, right?
Yeah, and they just get sick everywhere.
It's like bar hop.
It was disgusting. But no, I would say go in the summer because it's the best weather because it rains all the time. But the summer you'll be likely to get less rain. But in Ireland they always joke that they have they can have 4 seasons in one day. So, but I would say summer's the best, or Christmas because they do a lot. Like they put all the lights out for Christmas, and you know, it's a country that really celebrates Christmas, so it's a fun time to go.
You're talking about headlining places. Would you go down to places like Virginia or places like Washington, D.C.? Where do you have ideas of touring?
Yeah, I'll go anywhere just once it makes sense money-wise. So I haven't really made a plan for next year. Right now, next place I'm going to is Poughkeepsie on Friday.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know how to say that.
So it's Poughkeepsie. It's also the hardest spelling city, I think, in the country. Poughghess.
I know. Every time I spelled it on my Instagram story, I feel like
I was impressed you pronounced it well, though.
Oh, good.
Poughkeepsie.
Good. So there, and then I have Hartford, and then that's kind of it for this, because then I'm going to Ireland. So I have to figure out after. But yeah. Oh, I'm going to Texas, and I know I'm going to Texas in March, but yeah, I'll go anywhere if it's. The other thing is that when you work in the city, like I'm not headlining enough, or not, like I don't have a big enough career, like I'm not successful enough to be making.
I mean, you're killing it though. You really are killing it. But continue.
Well, thank you, but I mean, I'm not. Right now, I'm doing
at the peak.
Well, I'm doing good enough in the city that I could do, like, let's say. If I can
Poughkeepsie and Hartford.
Well, no, multiple spots at the weekend. So if I go out and headline, I'm still at the point where, because I don't have like a big credit, I can be taken advantage of a little bit. Thankfully with the social media following, that like helps a lot, you know. So, but I have to make sure that I'm making enough to leave the city, you know, because you can run around the city and make money in the city. So it's kind of hard, totally, minus the flight or train or the dinner out there, however much. Yeah, and then you're just doing 15-minute spots in the city. So I try to keep it like I'll do like maybe 1 or 2 road gigs a month and then stay in the city the rest. So that's kind of, but yeah, I don't know. When you get bigger, it's obviously better because then you can make way more money. But yeah, I'm at that point now where I'm just sort of like still figuring it out. What's your favorite part of New York? I don't. Maybe the people, the environment. You can say the comedy. Like my favorite place in New York. Like my favorite, I guess I live in Chelsea now. So I love Chelsea. Chelsea's really nice. Did you go over to Little Island yet over there? I didn't really like that. It was Yeah, it's kind of overrated. Overrated. It's just like greenery on top of the water, kind of, and people are like, "Oh, it's New York's hotspot." That little theater that they have. That looks cool. It's cool. It does look cool. I wonder if they do shows there. Yeah, I think they do. We'll do it. Yeah, but I think no, not that. I don't have a favorite. Well, like you go to the top of the Empire State Building. Did you go down to the top of the Freedom Tower? Did you do any tour? You've done any tourist stuff? Just when people have come to visit, but no, I just love coffee shops. That's my favorite thing. So like there's a coffee shop across the street from me that I really like now, but I think always when I travel, I love going to coffee shops because I don't know, they're kind of cute and comfortable and you can read or write. So yeah, so coffee shops. But like I don't have a favorite area because like Williamsburg is cool. Astoria is amazing. But yeah, or like all of New York is pretty fucking cool. So it's hard. How do you drink your coffee? I like it iced with almond milk. So. No 2%. No. Good, not from a cow. We're not into dairy. I feel like nobody can really take dairy. I think everyone is lactose intolerant, right? People just like less so than others. Oh, well, I saw a TikTok that the original pyramid, the food pyramid, the scientists, flipped, right? Well, yeah, the scientists who did it, dairy wasn't in it. So the original scientists back long ago, dairy's not in it, but then that's not bad for consumerism. So they added dairy in and they put it like a lot, but the original nutritionist said you actually don't need dairy to survive. And it's not actually that good for you. Growing up on a farm, what kind of animals did you interact with? So I didn't technically grow up, but I would spend my weekends because I would go down to my dad. But my grandfather has cows, and he used to have sheep, so like would have a lot of lambs. And my dad breeds horses, and then they used to have chickens. They don't have chickens anymore. So what did he do with the horses, breeding them wise? There's usually just like sells them then afterwards. So. And if you breed a horse horses go by blood. So if you breed a horse with a horse that's won a lot of races, then technically your horse, your pony should have like good breeding, good stock or whatever, which in like people, that's really bad. Yeah, right. You know, that's like white supremacist shit there. Yeah, literally. Yeah. So, well, how much does a horse cost? Like a really good breeder horse? It could be anything. You could make like a couple of thousand to like millions off a horse. My dad, he would never make that much off a horse, but that's like proper breeders. He just does it like part time because he's also a policeman.
And is it like the horses that are the best are potentially the best racers type horse, or like the prettiest?
Or like sometimes he'll grow the horse and break it so that it's ready for show jumping. And
what does that mean?
Break it means, I'm sure it means like break its soul or something. But like, no, it means like train it. Like when you house train a dog, you are human training a horse so that they're not going to kick the human, or they're not going to like throw it off, so that it's like able to have the saddle on it, have the bit in its mouth so that you can ride it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so just breaking. I think it probably comes from like breaking the horse's spirit.
Right. Break it in, like breaking in a baseball glove.
Exactly.
Make it like a little looser. Does your dad still have that farm?
Yeah. He lives on that, and he still has horses. But I think they're probably probably more expensive to have them. I think it's more like a passion. And there's like fun things you learn about growing up around horses. Like they don't like perfume, so that drives them crazy, or like cologne.
Really?
Yeah. So
what would they do? They just like stay away from you?
Yeah, or they could kick you. So it's like known not to wear it if you're like going to be around horses. So I never wear perfume, even though I'm not around horses. It's just like I never really got attached to perfume.
And like not to stand behind the horse, right?
Yeah. And I grew up riding horses as well.
Oh, nice. Do you ever ride horses over here?
No, I kind of got afraid at one point in my late teens, and I just got like a bit nervous. And you can't be afraid riding horses, because if you're nervous, you're a bad horse rider.
You were never like a competitive type rider?
No, I did show jumping a little bit as a kid, but yeah, just as I got older, I got aware of like my morality, and heard like my mother's psychotic. And so she really didn't like that I was riding horses, because it was like something with my dad. So she kept telling me as a kid, do you know that Superman fell off a horse and he can't use his legs anymore? So she would tell me all these things. So eventually it like got me afraid.
Well, what story of Superman was that?
Just the original Superman. That
he fell off the horse? In
real life, he fell off a horse, and he is like spine dead, or what's it called?
I guess like paralyzed.
Paralyzed, yeah.
So how do you feel about the horses in freaking Central Park?
I don't. They're fine. They're grand.
You don't mind what they're doing? You mean? I mean, like the carriages.
Oh, I thought you meant like, am I afraid they're gonna attack me? I was like, no, I'm more afraid of the squirrels.
You're more afraid of the people getting to shoot you. Yeah,
exactly. I'd be more afraid of the policemen than the actual, because our policemen don't have guns in Ireland, so it is like very daunting to say.
They just have the stick?
Just a stick. It's not a gun culture.
Oh man. And the taser?
No, I mean, I think the taser just for certain policemen, but probably with some.
They don't have guns.
Yeah, but it's like the police force is more community based, so it's like it's Garda Síochána, which translates to Guardian of the Peace, because they wanted to step away from the type of British control and enforcement. So even though I don't think British police have guns either, I don't think so. But yeah, there was meant to be more like community based, and like you're meant to like know your local policeman and stuff like that. So
did you ever get in trouble at home with one of those policemen?
Yeah, because they thought I was high once. I wasn't high. I just was really drunk and fell in a field of nettles. So I was like covered in like hives, kind of like poison ivy.
Well, why'd they think you were high?
Because I'd been crying and my eyes were so red, and I was so drunk and illegible or inaudible or whatever. Right. But what they're doing the horses in Central, I don't really know what they're doing. What are they doing?
I mean, they just have carriages attached to them, and they look super exhausted like during the summer and dehydrated. So
that's awful.
Yeah, it's not cool morality-wise.
They should do the bicycle.
Yeah, they should have that guy on the freaking bicycle. Those guys charge like $10 a minute.
Wow.
So no joke, that guy's making $200 a freaking 20-minute ride, blasting that music. Yeah. Good for him. So Katie, before we get out of here, let's shout out what you got going on coming up in the beginning of 2023. Does that include Hartford, Connecticut as well?
No, Hartford in Poughkeepsie is this month, and then I have no idea really. I have Texas at some point in March, and I don't know. I have to start booking out the new year. So I guess just follow me in New York, follow me in New York.
Follow you in New York on IG.
Don't ever lie.
Let's pop it up. We're popping up your Instagram right here. So hold it.
Oh,
hold
cool.
It. Yeah.
Wow, this is like so professional.
See, this is how we do it. CGI, behind the scenes. Good job, Ted Jones, popping it up.
So Katie Boyle comic, and I have a podcast called The Shift, but it's not, we do dating relationship sort of stuff. So
and we can find that through your Instagram.
Yeah, everything in my dates is in my link tree. So also DM me where you are. I'll come perform there. And yeah, a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Katie, thank you so much for coming on the Ted Jones World podcast. Left-handed shake. Oh, it's a little sweaty from holding the mic. All good, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.